Buckley swings the far side for Metsa. Fire, score! Zach Metsa! The game is over! Zach Metsa!
This is Talking Sense, exploring the week that was, storylines, and what to expect, with the voice of your Merritt Centennials, Mantar Bandal.
The Merritt Centennials open up their second round playoff series with the Penticton Vees, not the way they wanted, dropping games 1 and 2, both by a score of 4-1. Hello and welcome to Talking Sense. I'm your host, Mantar Bandal. Today's edition will be an abbreviated edition, just segment 1 and segment 2, and we'll have Fraser Rogers, the voice of the Vees, come on in segment 2 to talk more about this series. But without further ado, let's explore games 1 and 2 as the series now shifts to Merritt for games 3 and 4. Well, game 1 was on Friday at the South Okanagan Event Center, and unfortunately for the Centennials, it did not start very well.
Now Faulkner turned it over. Kirkshank couldn't get the shot off. The puck taken by Ty Amonte instead. Amonte to the blue line. Bass, the shot. It scores! Gabe Bass on the first shot on net. And the Vees are up 1-0. Wow. Gabe Bass on just a harmless shot from the blue line. Caught Jake Berger napping, and the Vees are up 1-0.
The first shot on net from the Penticton Vees, that was from the point. Just a fluky goal from Gabe Bass made it 1-0, and then later in the period, the Vees struck again.
Near side chasing after it is Chris Clack, and now the Vees will skate out the other way. Clack. Far side finds Griffin Mendel. Mendel moves in. Mendel has a shot, scores! What a shot by Griffin Mendel! Wow, what a shot that was! Griffin Mendel. Not the goal scorer, but a goal scorer's goal nonetheless. What a shot! That was just wow.
Just a wicked shot by Griffin Mendel. Hit the crossbar on the goalpost where they connected, went in at the 17:49 mark, made it 2-0 for Penticton. And then later in the third period, the Vees made it 3-0 before the Centennials finally got a goal.
Ford moves down the left side, tries to cut in, runs into a check, scores! Tyrell Buckley! And that's exactly what the Centennials needed. They're back within 2. Tyrell Buckley scoring his first goal in the playoffs, his first career BCHL goal.
Tyrell Buckley scoring on a rebound, the native of Penticton. Tyler Ward with the assist extended his point streak to 5 games at the time, made it 3-1, but then the Vees got a late goal to pull away 4-1 the final in that one. Not the result the Centennials wanted, for sure. They didn't get many shots in that, unfortunately. And Game 2 was literally quite exactly the exact same storyline. The Centennials and Vees started off Game 2 on the Saturday. The Centennials actually started off really well. We're buzzing all over the Vees, and then, unfortunately, the Vees opened the scoring really early once again.
Boy, great start for the Centennials. They are buzzing so far here tonight. The Vees move out the other way. Crookshank shot. Oh, and it goes in! Oh, man. Wow, that is a tough goal to give up. Boy, the Vees score first on a free goal that should have no business going in. Centennials trail 1-0 for the second game in a row.
A goal that Berger would have liked to have back from Jamie Armstrong at the 2:44 mark. Really the only goal that went in. That was not Berger's fault on that game. And then later in the second period, the Vees made it 2-0.
Centers it back door, shot scores! Duncan Campbell. The Vees take a 2-0 lead.
Left wide alone on the back door, and Duncan Campbell not going to miss that shot for sure. 13:56 mark of the second period. And then later in the third period, the Vees made it 3-0 before the Centennials finally got one back.
Face off to the left of Matt Robson. Chase Bell taking this draw. Centennials with a draw, they score! Stefan Seeger right off the draw. Boy, what a bullet. That was just a bullet. Man. What a shot by Stefan Seeger. And the Centennials are back within 2.
Stefan Seeger just wiring home his third of the postseason. Crossbar and in right off the face-off. Made it 3-1. But then the Vees got an empty netter at the 19:07 mark, and they would go on to win 4-1 once again. And so the Centennials, after scoring 21 goals in 4 games in round number 1, now only have 2 goals in 2 games. And furthermore, They only have 48 shots in those two games. The Vees have over 70. And so that's something that's going to have to change for the Centennials. More shots, which leads to more opportunities entering the game 3 and 4 as the series shifts back to Merritt. Well, we'll have Fraser Rogers, the voice of the Penticton Vees, join us in segment 2, which is coming up next. You're listening to Talkin' Sense. I'm your host, Mantar Bandal.
Welcome back to Talking Sense. This is segment 2 with the voice of your Merritt Centennials, Mantar Bandal.
The Merritt Centennials coming off back-to-back 4-1 losses to the Penticton Vees in games 1 and 2, and now trail the series 2-0, which shifts back to Merritt for games 3 and 4. Hello and welcome back to Talking Sense. I'm your host, Mantar Bandal. An abbreviated version today. We're on to segment 2, and to talk more about this second-round series matchup, we're joined on the phone by Fraser Rogers, the voice of the Penticton Vees. Fraser, how's it going?
Good, Mantar. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. How are you doing, sir?
Doing pretty good today. It's a really nice day this morning. Had a nice walk, and on the way back home yesterday, I got some pizza. So I came in around 11 last night, dropped the pizza off at work, and I had the rest today. So I'm doing pretty good.
Hey, the sun literally did come up, right? The expression came up the next morning. So yeah, can't complain. And we were just talking off air. Obviously, you're never in trouble until you lose at home, as the old adage goes in the playoffs. I'm sure Merritt's going to be taking that to heart as we shift to game 3 and 4.
Absolutely, and I think we were also talking how this, I don't think, the score might suggest, 8-2 combined score after 2 games, that it's one-sided, but it's really not. I think this is a series where it's 2 teams that are evenly matched. Right now, the bounces are going Penticton's way, and they're capitalizing on all their chances. But what have you seen, Fraser, so far in this series after games 1 and 2?
Right, yeah. To kind of follow up what you just said, I don't think, game 1 was as lopsided as a 4-1 score we're reading. You look at Gabe Bast getting a couple goals, with some fortunate bounces. One, knuckleball kind of seeing eye shot in game 1, and then his second in game 1 kind of going off Michael Faulkner. And in game 2, I thought, the Vees gave them full marks. I thought they were even better than they were in game 1, and I really liked them in the second period in game 2. I thought if it wasn't for Jacob Berger, maybe the score could have got out of hand in that second period. The shots were 16-6, and I thought the Vees' best period of the series so far was that second, but then Merritt had a little bit of pushback in the third, and things tightened up again. So, yeah, you mentioned off the top, 8-2 is a score line. I don't think it's that lopsided right now, and the Vees aren't, thinking anything yet when it comes to this series as well in the bag. Trust me, I was talking to some of the players this morning that were loitering around the rink before game 3, and even the coaching staff said, it's a different game when you go to Merritt. Nothing has been won yet. The Vees, have the first 2 games, but it's the first to 4, not the first to 2. And maybe to answer your question a long roundabout way, what I've seen is finally the nucleus of the Vees that we've been waiting all season long finally together, because heading into that playoff round, the 6 penciled-in defensemen they had before the season started only played 3 regular season games together, with all these man games lost to injury. And they've finally seen the regular 6 together for games 1 and 2. So I think the biggest takeaway for the Vees and in this series is how well defensively they played, with guys like Matt Robson in goal, obviously, and that D-core just shutting down that Merritt offense.
Talking with Fraser Rogers, the voice of the Penticton Vees. Obviously, Fraser, now the series shifts to Merritt. The only loss the Vees had to the Centennials was actually in Merritt, and that was in January. It's a bit of a rough stretch there for you guys. But now the series shifts to Merritt, we talked about how the rink is significantly different in Merritt, a much more hostile environment to play in. What are some adjustments do you think your team needs to make, if at all?
That's a great question, because it is a different brand, and that's nothing to say in a negative tone against Merritt or the team. It's just, the physics of that arena and how the game has to be played in the smaller confines of Nicola Valley. And, it's not like maybe the most modern day style of game there. It's more of a, physical layer on layer approach where you don't have a lot of time and space. And it's about getting the balances and finding a way to get to pucks, because, you never know what can happen in the offensive zone in Merritt. And what needs to change, I don't think what needs to change, I'll rephrase the question, what needs to stay the same for Penticton is how they play defensively, just that compete level. Even with the fours, what I saw in game 2 was just that sellout factor, I like to call it. The way the guys were competing for every single inch of ice that was out there at the SOEC. They were winning the majority of those 50-50 puck battles, selling out on block shots, diving headfirst just to clear the puck out of the zone on a play, no matter if it was late or early or midway through a period. I think that's the desperation the Vees need to have going to Game 3 and Game 4 because there's less time and space in Merritt. It seems like it's more of an emotional roller coaster of a game because of how the games can play out there, and I think they have to continue that kind of desperation style hockey because, look, Merritt's going to have their back up against the wall a little bit, and they're going to be fired up to go home and kind of return the favor, and they want to play desperate. This is their season on the line now. You don't want to go down 3-0. You want to have your best game of the series if you're Merritt Centennial, and that's what the Vees will need to match, is that intensity, that desperation, which they had in Game 2 and Game 1. I think they have to continue that in Game 3, because it's not about the most skilled execution style hockey in Merritt. It's about who wants it more. It's all about that want factor, and that usually comes out on top, who wants it more.
And Fraser, the last thing I wanted to ask you real quick is, one player from the Vees who's impressed you the most so far that you didn't think was going to be this good, and the same thing for the Centennials. One player from either side that sort of jumped out on the page to you so far?
I like that. That's a great question. I think, it's a lot of people, you jumped right away and said Gabe Bast, but I think it's another defenseman, Griffin Mendel. You're a big fan of his. You talk about him a lot. But to the average fan, they see Griffin Mendel and they see, oh yeah, he's a committed player to Denver, just like Tyler Ward. But he has been, outside of Matt Robson, the best player for the Vees in this series. The way he's been able to shut down that Ward, Regish, and Jewel line, because he's been up against them every single time, and he has a goal already. He almost had another goal in game number 2, but he hit the crossbar in the third period. He's been a stud. I know that term gets bantied about a lot in this game, and at this level, everybody likes to say, this guy's a stud. This guy, I think even scouts at the college level, NHL scouts have been watching, been raving about Griffin Mendel. I think, the Merritt Centennial staff would tip their hat to him and James Miller, that defensive pairing that's been going against what I heard, the BMW line, the Jewel, Regish, and Ward line. And then on the Merritt side of things, Michael Faulkner, I think, is a terrific defenseman. We were talking about him on our broadcast in Games 1 and 2, just the way he does everything for the Merritt Centennials. Obviously had a goal that bounced off him and in, unlucky. I thought he was one of the better players in Game 2, trying to drive the bus from the backhand out. I really liked what he's done from the blue line. And also Jacob Berger has been, I think, really good. Despite the 8 goals against, he's made some great saves, and I think he's given the Merritt Centennials every chance to win the first 2 games the way he's played. But right now, I think the big guy that everybody needs to start looking at is number 77 in blue and white, because Griffin Mendel has been terrific.
Well, Fraser, I appreciate you coming on as always. Thanks so much for doing this.
Look forward to Games 3 and 4, man. It should be fun there, and hopefully it's some great crowds, because I know it's always great energy when these two teams play there in the playoffs.
That was Fraser Rogers, the voice of the Penticton Vees Centennials. Vees, Game 3 tomorrow night, Monday at 7 p.m. at the Nicola Valley Memorial Arena. That's a wrap for tonight's edition of Talking Sense. In case you missed the earlier editions, you can find this now at our Centennials blog at q101.ca. For Talking Sense, I'm Mantar.